app was delisted on Friday morning. We launched a new sticker campaign where customers could come and do transactions and get cash back. Incidentally, it's very similar to what Google's own app does in India. And Google just sent us an email saying, we have decided that this is now called gambling, and as a result, we're going to ban your app. So we had to take out that game and that cash back and put the app back on, and it got restored about 8 hours later. So that's the status as of now. But I think what we're focused on is some of the bigger questions that this raises, which is that effectively Google has a monopoly on the Android ecosystem in India, which is 95% of phone users. And they can basically decide what policies they want to make and how arbitrarily they want to enforce them. And that's a big sword that is hanging over the necks of all Indian startups who are innovating for India, that Google can one day decide that they no longer like their app and effectively remove access to it from 95% of Indians.
From Google's side, though, Madhur, they were contending that the feature on your app was in violation of their gambling policies. Are you suggesting that you don't think that's the case and perhaps they made this move for competitive reasons?
Well, there's no doubt that they have a lot of market dominance, right? So they can make moves which can be arbitrary, and they can make moves which serve perhaps their commercial interests and not the interests of the users. The specific feature that we launched on Friday morning was absolutely not a violation of their policies. Now, of course, it doesn't matter what you think and I think. It's actually the state of play is that it only matters what Google thinks. And that's something that I think all should structurally have a problem with. That even if you think that a campaign is perfectly legal in the laws of the country, if you think that they comply with the policies of Google, Google can still decide arbitrarily that it's not, and that's the only word that matters, and they can effectively delist your app.
So, Madhur, I mean, this problem essentially highlights the issue of Google as both a competitor as well as a so-called regulator, because it is a monopoly of the space. Do you think it's kind of caught the attention of regulators that they need to govern and look at this space more?
Well, there's no doubt in several countries it has caught the attention of all stakeholders. So, of course, it's in the attention of the users, the developers, as well as regulators and the government, really. So it has caught attention across the board. But just to sort of recap on the state of play, so Google owns Android, which has 95% of mobile phones in the country. It controls the Play Store. It makes billions of dollars from advertising revenues from apps that list on that Play Store. And it also has its own apps in many, many areas that compete in areas like cloud storage and maps and email and now in payments and commerce, and the list goes on and on and on. So there are clear conflicts of interest here, right? And we just assume that Google is going to have good governance and they're not going to be driven by commercial interests. They're only going to be purely driven by interests of the ecosystem, while again and again and again, they've shown that that is not the case.